My name is Pierce. Detective Pierce. Some call me paranoid, others obsessed. But you don't spend your nights walking among shadows and still expect sunshine in the morning. I take the darkness home with me. It's part of the job. And sometimes, it whispers. It was October 28th, a few days before Halloween, when the letter arrived. No return address. No name. Just a faded envelope that smelled of damp wood and mildew. The ink was smeared, as if whoever wrote it had trembling hands. Maybe from fear. Maybe something worse. They took him. The house did. It changes shape when you look away. Please come before I forget him too. No signature. Just that. At first, I thought it was a joke. Halloween prank mail for the local weirdo PI. But something about the shaky handwriting and the paper, it felt too real. Too desperate. There was an address scribbled on the back, 47 Hollow Creek Road. I knew the place. An old Victorian house at the edge of town, near the marshes. Boarded up for years. Locals whispered about it. The Hollow House, they called it. Said it used to belong to a mortician who went mad after his daughter drowned in the cellar. Others said it was cursed long before that. I grabbed my coat, my flashlight, and the revolver I keep in the drawer, just in case. By the time I got there, the sun had dipped low behind the trees. The house loomed like a corpse waiting to exhale. Shutters hung off rusted hinges. Ivy crawled up its decaying frame like veins feeding a black heart. No cars, no lights. Just a quiet so thick it pressed into my chest. The front door was already open, just slightly, like it was waiting for me. I stepped inside. The air was heavy, damp and cold, like the inside of a crypt. My boots echoed against the warped wooden floor. Wallpaper peeled in long strips. Dust hung in the air like static. And something else, a low hum, almost like whispering, but too low to make out. "Hello?" I called out. No answer. But the door creaked shut behind me, sealing me in. I moved slowly, careful not to disturb the silence more than I had to. The house was wrong. I don't mean messy or decayed. I mean the architecture. Corridors turned where they shouldn't. Doors appeared where I swore there weren't any. I walked past the hallway that should have led to the kitchen, and found a staircase instead. I took a step back, confused, and the staircase was gone. The letter wasn't lying. The house changed when I wasn't looking. I kept my flashlight steady. That's when I noticed something scratched into the wall, beneath a rotting painting. "He's still here. Blood? Or just old paint?" I didn't want to know. Then, a sound. A creak from upstairs. I drew my weapon and made my way up the stairs, one slow step at a time. Each board groaned under my weight like a dying man. The second floor was colder, enough to see my breath. The hum was louder here. Still indistinct, but now rhythmic, like a chant spoken through teeth. At the end of the hallway, a door stood ajar. I pushed it open. Inside was a child's bedroom. Dusty toys, a small wooden bed, and drawings taped to the walls, stick figures with big eyes and no mouths. All of them standing outside the same crooked house. This one. And in the corner of the room, a figure, sitting in a rocking chair. I froze. My flashlight flickered, once then steadied. The figure didn't move. It looked like a mannequin, or maybe a corpse. Skin gray, eyes wide and dry, mouth open in a silent scream. Dressed in old, torn clothes, like it had been sitting there for years. But when I stepped closer, its head snapped toward me, and it whispered, "Help me remember." His voice was dry, like leaves rubbed between fingers, barely human. I instinctively raised my gun, but the thing in the rocking chair didn't flinch. It just sat there, wide-eyed, as if looking through me. "No, into me," he whispered again. "The house forgets, but I don't. I can't. I tried. God, I tried." "Who are you?" I asked, though I wasn't sure I wanted the answer. He looked around, like the walls were listening. Then slowly, he lifted a shaking finger and pointed at one of the drawings on the wall, the one of the house surrounded by stick figures. One of them had been scribbled out violently. Black crayon dug into the paper so hard it tore through. "That's me," he said. Then he smiled. I backed out of the room and shut the door. I didn't believe in ghosts, not really. But this wasn't just some mental patient squatting in an abandoned house. The way he moved, the way he spoke, the way the temperature dropped the closer I got to him. That wasn't natural. And the house, it kept rearranging itself. I was sure the hallway had changed behind me again. The only constant was the hum, that awful, low sound, like wind through bone. And beneath it, another voice. A whisper just on the edge of hearing. Always just out of reach. I turned down what looked like a narrow corridor, and stopped. There, at the end of the hallway, stood a door. Iron and wood, bound with chains. And etched across it in jagged symbols I didn't recognize was a single word. Memory. My hand reached for the knob, almost involuntarily. The air around it was thick and buzzing. The hum was deafening now. I could feel it behind my teeth. Then the whisper spoke again, clear this time. Don't open it. I spun around. No one was there. But something was watching. I turned back, and the door was gone. The floorboards creaked beneath me as I stumbled back into the main hall. That's when I saw the photos. They weren't there before. Dozens of framed photographs, scattered along the staircase wall. Each one black and white, old, families, children, couples, all standing in front of the hollow house, all smiling. Except the house in the background. It was different in every picture. Angles off, windows in strange places, shadows in windows. And the people, in each photo, one of them was blurred. Not by age or damage, but intentionally, as if the memory of them was smeared. And worse, I began to recognize them. A girl who went missing 6 years ago. A couple found drowned in a dry attic. A kid who disappeared walking home from school. All unsolved, all forgotten. They were taken, a voice behind me said. I turned. The man from the rocking chair had followed me. He stood there now, more lucid, more human. This place eats them. It takes what's left when no one remembers. That's how it survives. You're telling me this house feeds on forgotten people? I asked, my voice sharper than I intended. He nodded. Names, faces, memories. If no one looks for you, the house keeps you. A wave of nausea hit me. I remembered the letter. No name, just desperation. Who sent the letter? I demanded. Was it you? He shook his head. I don't remember. He looked down, trembling. But I know someone's still here. Trapped. A boy. The last one taken. He's fighting to hold on. That's why you found the letter. He sent it. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Not that they'd been on to begin with. But now the darkness pulsed, like something breathing in the walls. The man's face twisted in pain. It's waking up. It knows you're here. And then he screamed, not at me, but at the ceiling. His body convulsed and folded inward, like he was collapsing into himself. Bones snapping, skin tearing, and then nothing. He was gone. Not dead. Not there. Erased. The hum was now a roar. I ran. No direction, just away. But the house kept shifting. The front door vanished. The hallways twisted. Rooms repeated. I was trapped. And the whisper came back, now in dozens of voices. Forget, forget, forget. My flashlight flickered and died. I was swallowed by the dark. And then, a voice, small and clear. Don't forget me. A child's voice. The voice cut through the darkness like a shard of glass. I turned toward it, but the hallway was gone. In its place, a staircase winding downward into pitch black. I hesitated. Then I heard it again. Faint pleading. I'm still here. I descended. The stairs moaned beneath me like they hadn't felt footsteps in years. The walls oozed with dampness. The air was heavy with mold and something worse. The scent of time, rotting. I held my breath and pushed on, step after step, deeper than a house this size could ever go. At the bottom, a wooden door waited. No lock. Just a name, carved into the center with trembling hands. Eli. The boy. I pushed the door open. The room beyond was small, circular, lit by a single candle that flickered in the center of the floor. Symbols covered every inch of the walls, scratched in, burned in, written in what I prayed was paint. And in the corner, curled up like a shadow made flesh, was a child. Thin, pale, eyes sunken so deep I wasn't sure he could see. I stepped closer. Eli? He flinched at his name like it hurt. Slowly, he raised his head. His lips moved, but no sound came out. I crouched beside him. I'm here. You're not forgotten. I found your letter. He looked up, eyes wide with something like hope. Then he spoke, not aloud, but inside my head. "If you know my name, I can leave." I felt it then, the house resisting. A pulse like a heartbeat in the walls. The candle sputtered. The whispers returned, furious now. "He is ours. You have no claim." I shouted into the dark. "No! He has a name. He remembers. And now I do too." Eli gripped my hand, and the room convulsed. The candle exploded in a flash of light. The walls cracked and screamed, yes, screamed, like they were alive. And suddenly we were falling. When I came to, I was lying on the floor of the front room. Morning light streamed through the shattered windows. The house, quiet, still. And Eli stood beside me, solid, real. He was smiling. "Thank you," he whispered. Then, he faded, gently, like mist in sunlight. And he was gone. 1 week later. Back at my office, I went through every missing persons report from the last decade. Eli Thorne, disappeared 3 years ago on Halloween night. Family moved away soon after. Case closed, unresolved. But I remembered. I wrote down everything. Every detail. Every floorboard groan. Every whisper. Every word he said. And I filed it in a red folder. But here's the thing. When I checked back the next day, the folder was gone. Vanished. No record of the report. No name in the missing persons database. It was as if Eli never existed. But I know better. Because every night since, when the wind howls just right, I hear a child's voice say, "Thank you for remembering me."